Hello, my name is Julian Vanegas. This is the video to fulfill the assessment number one, the video lecture. Just check it out the information. The country that I chose was Israel, and hopefully you get this information very interesting for the people that see the video. My student ID is 132567889, and this is for our subject International Political and Economics. Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you for your time, and see you next time. I hope you enjoyed it.
Israel is a country located in the southwest of Asia. The countries of Lebanon and Syria is in the north side. Jordan is in the east, and Egypt is in the southwest. The West Bank is part of the Israel as well. Israel became an independent country in 1948, and Israel is the only Jewish country around the world. Israel population actually is 8.1 million of Jewish people, and different cultures you can find in there as Muslims, Christians, Druze, and Samaritans. The largest city of Israel is Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is the capital as well. And most of the countries keep embassies of Israel in Tel Aviv. Okay, let's talk about the political economic structure of Israel and some historical bases. Israel has many political parties. It's a long variety of opinions. In the past elections in 2015, 10 parties won seats in the Knesset. The Knesset means the Parliament of Israel, that you can understand. The parties belong to the three main groups. The first group is the Zionist parties. This includes some conservative and liberal people. The group that have been part of the conservative liberal is the Ha-Likud, is the name of that. The second big group is the Social Democrats, is the Labour Party. Big group of the parliament is the religious Zionists. Zionists is a small religious group of Orthodox and Jewish party. Israel is a parliamentary democracy. All Israel citizens who are in 18 years or more may vote. The Knesset, that is the parliament, has 120 members. Each member is elected for no more than 4 years, and the Knesset makes laws in Israel. And the Knesset also help decide the national policy and approve the budgets and taxes in Israel. Israel, a writing constitution. Instead, the Knesset made some basic laws or some basic regulatories. The basic laws say how the government must work and give civil rights for the whole citizens in Israel. The Labour Party supports government control of the economy, but also believes in the limited amount of free enterprises. The party said it will give more away for the agreement of the Palestinians and Arab states. Finally, Netanyahu is the actual prime minister of the Israel. Has been elected for 4 times, and more than David Ben-Gurion, that the last record. Netanyahu is the only prime minister in Israel history that has been elected 3 times in a row. Netanyahu is the second longest service prime minister of Israel, and his current government lasts a full term. Upon the competition, he will become a longest service prime minister. About the culture of Israel as some implication of business. Tel Aviv and, and Jerusalem are considered the main cultural hubs of Israel. The New York Times, for example, have described Tel Aviv as the capital of Mediterranean food. Lonely Planet ranked it as the top 10 cities of the nightlife, and National Geographic named it of the one top of the beach cities. Israel has a lot of history involved. Actually, Israel has 200 museums, and Israel has the highest number of museums per capita in the world, with millions of visitors annually. Let's talk about about the language. In Israel, people speak in Hebrew and Arabic. Hebrew and Arabic are the official language of the state of Israel, but in Israel there are over 83 languages are spoken in the country. In 2012, Israel was named in the second most educated country around the world. That was described for the Organization of Economic Competition and Developed Education of the GLACE report. Actually, the 78% of the money is invested in education. For that reason, the 45% of the population has a university of college diploma. Okay, to continue with our presentation, let's talk about the economic of Israel. I divide this part in four important parts. There are more, but let's talk about that points. The first one is the agriculture one. It's important to know that the 2.8% of the country's GDP is derived from the agriculture. A lot of people think that Australia is just desert, but actually 80% of the local consumption is exported outside to a lot of countries. 2.6 are employed in agriculture. 2.6 of the citizens in Israel are employed in agriculture production, and 6.3 in service of agriculture as well. So for agriculture, there are involved a lot of employees and a lot of activities. Let's talk about financial services. Israel has over 100 active venture capital funds operating throughout the country with $10 billion under the management. Between 1991 and 2000, Israel annual venture capital outlays, nearly all private, rose the 60-folds from 58 millions to 3.3 billions. Companies launched by Israel venture funds rose from 100 to 800 companies was found in that time. And Israel information technology revenues rose from 1.6 billions to 12.6 billions. In 1989, Israel ranked second only the United States in invested private equity capital as a share of GDP. Israel led the world in the share of its growth attributable to high technology ventures. 70% economic of Israel. Let's talk about the highest technology. As a lot of people know, Israel has very high technology. Science and technology in Israel is one of the country's most highest developed and industrialized sectors. The modern Israel ecosystem of high technology is high optimized, making up a sufficient bulk of Israel economy. Israel ranks 4th in the world in science activity, as measured by the number of scientific publications per million citizens. Israel's percentage of the total number of scientific articles published worldwide is almost 10 times higher than the percentage of the world's population. Now let's talk about the energy. The energy, historically, Israel relied on external imports of meeting most of the energy needs, spending an amount equivalent to the 5% of the GDP per year in 2009 on imports of energy products. The transportation, or the people prefer to use gasoline and diesel fuel, while the majority of electric production is generated using imported coal. As of 2013, Israel was importing about 100 millions of barrels of oil per year. Let's talk about the diamond industry. Israel is one of the world's three major centers of polished diamonds. The first is Belgium, the second is India, and the third place is for Israel. Israel net polished diamonds exports slid 22.8% of 22.8% in 2012, as polished diamond exports per 5.56 billions from 7.2 billions in 2011. Cut diamonds were Israel's largest export product, comprising 28% of the whole exports. Okay, to conclude this topic of the economy of Israel, it's important to talk about the impressive track record for creating profit-driven technologies. As we talked before, Israel developed very high technology, so Israel has become the first choice for many world's leading entrepreneurs, investors, and industry giants. For example, as Microsoft, for example, the founder Bill Gates considered Israel as a good place for invest. Investors as Warren Buffett as well, real estate developer and United States President Donald Trump, and telecommunication giants Carlos Slim. In September 2010, Israel was invited to join the OECD. Israel has also signed free trade agreements with European Union, with the United States. Israel is involved as well in the European Free Trade Association, have trading agreements with Turkey, with Mexico, with Canada, with Jordan, with Egypt, and in 2007, exactly the day is 18th of December, Israel became the first non-Latin American country to sign a free trade agreement with the Mercosur trade. To complete this presentation, the final topic is important ethical matters. I want to talk about justice, truth, and peace. It's very important to remember that the basis of the moral basis of the Israel is the Bible. The name of the Bible in Israel is La Torah. So when we talk about justice, truth, and peace, is the important sentence for them, because all business that Israel can make is based on justice, truth, and peace. I think Israel is a country that always speak about peace, but as you can see in the news, Israel is the most attacked country around the world, and is in have a lot of conflict. So it's strange when Israel talk about that they promote the peace, but have a lot of internal problems and a lot of wars around the Israel. So justice being God's must be vindicated, whether the object be of great or small value. The characteristics of the justice, truth, and peace is based on the Moses law. that everyone knows the story is in the Bible, in the book of Exodus. Shalom is the way that the Jude people say hello. They say shalom, means peace. Is one of the underlying principles of the Torah, so the Bible. There are a lot of ways and a lot of laws that the Bible explain how is the relationship between the people. So all the topics on all the matters about the justice, truth, and peace, we can have a good example in the history's Bible. Okay, let's talk about the business ethics. As I told you before in the last part, justice, truth, and peace, all the basis of the ethical matters are basic in the Torah. It's the same for the business. Laws concerning business ethics are very delineated in the major codes of Jewish law. In that case, the most important Jewish law is La Torah, or in our case is the Bible. So there are a lot of laws about how people, what is the most important way to do a business between people, and basic is based in the justice, truth, and peace as well. Let's talk about the marriage and sexual relations. For marriage and sexual relations, the monogamy is the ideal. Is the most important thing for the Jewish people. Marriage is also important, and is to set up a family home, is to take part in the institution imbued with holiness. There are something interesting about Jews that they think that the man who lives without a wife lives without joy and blessing, without protection and peace. So for Jewish people, it's very important about the marriage and sexual relations. Adultery and incestual relations are prohibited. Orthodox Jews view male homosexuality as implicit prohibited by the Torah, but other Jews view various forms of homosexual behavior, or all forms of homosexual behaviors are permitted by the Torah. Okay. Environment ethics. The book of Genesis in the Bible, in the chapter 1 and verse 26, indicates that God gave people controls over the animals and earth. So Genesis 2 and 15 emphasize that people were put in the world to maintain it and care for it. So there are a strong relation to save the world, save the animals, take care about the environment. So this is very remarkable in the Jewish law. So when you talk about Jewish people, when we talk about companies and enterprises, it's very important emphasize that people makes an agreements, makes a companies, makes the law based on the environmental ethics. So Jewish people is educated to take care about the animals, to take care about the environment as well. So I want to finish with explain what is the reasons to I choose Israel. In my opinion, I think Israel is a very important country. The reason is because the Bible speaks about Israel very long time ago, before Christ. Christ is a person who is very remarkable in the history. As we can see, we have before Christ and after Christ. So Jewish people, Jude culture for me is very important, and for that reason I choose that country. because I think it's unbelievable. It's amazing people. It's a very important nation that have survived for a long time and will continue to survive, because the Bible says that no one can conquer Israel. Israel continue conquer the territory, but the Bible say that. I believe that. So I don't know if you believe in that, but I believe that. So for me it's important. For me it's interesting. I hope that you find that information interesting. Thank you for your time.